And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed. To you it shall be for food. Genesis 1:29. Man did eat angels' food. He sent them meat to the full. Psalm 78:25. Everyday Manna with Lisa.
Hi everybody. Today we are going to make our own homemade taco seasoning mix. Now I know so many people, myself included, we go to the grocery store and we buy those packages of taco seasoning mix to make the tacos at home. That's expensive, you know, and you can make them for so much less at home. And on a day when you've got a little time, make up a batch of them and then label them with a Sharpie marker and you've got them ready to go. And they couldn't be easier. And you are controlling the ingredients that's going in it. So we're going to get started with about 1/3 cup of just dried onion flakes or minced onion, just dried. Mexican food, I don't know if you know this or not, but Mexican food uses a lot of oregano. So we're using some dried oregano, a couple of tablespoons. Then of course chili powder, just the commercial blend chili powder. Some cumin, because cumin is essential in Mexican cooking. Some salt. Some cayenne pepper. Now I'm using a full teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Remember, cayenne is hot. So if you don't want to use that much cayenne, pare it back to whatever amount of heat you like. But this is not going to be just for one serving. We're going to make baggies. Some dried garlic powder. And then for your mixes at home, I like to stir all that together. You need to add a little bit of cornstarch because cornstarch is a moisture absorber, and it will keep the mixture loose instead of caking up. Sometimes when you store things for any length of time, they'll cake up, and just about all of your pre-made up packages of spice blends that you get at the store will have cornstarch in them. And there's your mixture. And what you need to do is get yourself some baggies. The little snack size baggies are great, or these are just the little sandwich bags. And you want to put about 2 tablespoons or so in each baggie, depending, you know, and that'll make, you know, probably 2 pounds of meat tacos if you like ground beef, or that one's a little short there, maybe ground chicken. Whatever kind of tacos you like. This is your pre-mixed, ready to go taco seasoning mix. This will make about 5 to 6 baggies, and then you can label them. Now don't forget to label them. Just take the rest and pour it in your little baggie. Don't forget to label them. I like to seal it up almost all the way and then squeeze out any extra air that I can get. And you've got your own homemade taco seasoning mix for when you want to make tacos. You've got it ready to go. Now you could also use this very blend in burritos. Maybe you wanted to make burritos or enchiladas or Mexican meatballs. If you want to make Mexican meatballs, what I would do would be use 2 packages of this and maybe 1.5 pounds or so of ground beef, and then 1 pound or so of ground pork. Mix those 2 things together. Add your seasoning mix and maybe an egg or whatever else you wanted to put in there. But you've got your spice blends ready to go. Don't forget to label them with a Sharpie, and these would keep for probably a year or better in your pantry. So there you go. It's a quick, easy, homemade taco seasoning mix. everybody. Today we are going to make our own homemade onion soup mix. Now in the kitchen, those packages of the onion soup mix, you know the ones I'm talking about, the dried soup mix that we add to soups, we add to burgers, we add to potatoes. Great, great, great recipe is to take those dried soup mixes, cut up some potatoes, whatever kind you like, stir in that with some olive oil and maybe even a fresh cut up onion. Fabulous. Bake them, roast them in the oven at 425, 450 degrees for 30 minutes. Absolutely delicious. But today we are going to make our own homemade version of that dried soup mix so that you can have it in your pantry ready to go any day. Now I have some bouillon cubes that are just the beef bouillon cubes because my store does not stock the loose granules. That's okay, you can make your own. Just put them in a food processor or a blender, turn it on. It's gonna be noisy, so bear with me for just about 30 seconds. Let me look at it. Yep, now let's do a little bit more, about 5 more seconds or so. You can pulse it too. And that's perfect, and I'll show you what we've got. Our own little instant granules. This is a great use for those bouillon cubes that, you know, sometimes they don't want to dissolve as readily when they're in the cube form. If you pulse them up, they're perfect. To this, we're going to add some, of course, dried onions, just those dehydrated onion flakes, some garlic powder, some pepper, and some cornstarch. Now remember, anytime you're making a pre-made up package of a spice blend, a seasoning mix, you need to add cornstarch to them because the cornstarch will absorb any moisture that might come on, and that way they'll stay loose for you. And all of those pre-packaged up mixes have some kind of cornstarch in there. Mix all that together. You do not need salt because that bouillon, again, has got salt in it. You don't need to add any salt. And you've got your own homemade onion soup mix. Now, what you need to do is put these in baggies. This will make about 4. A couple of spoonsful in each one. And what this will do, you can use it to make soup. You can use it to make meatloaves. You can use it to make burgers. You can use it to make any vegetable. I'm telling you, potatoes with this on it, roasted with some olive oil, is out of this world good. And then you could use it to make a quick onion soup. Sometimes I like to just have a bowl of onion soup. I love onion soup. So what I do is take one of these and mix it with like a, you know, about a cup of water, cup and a half of water. Bring it to a simmer, let it simmer for about 10 minutes. And then in an oven-proof mug or bowl, top it with some croutons and maybe some shredded provolone or Gruyere cheese or cheddar cheese or whatever kind of cheese you want, Swiss cheese. And then put it under your broiler for just maybe a minute to get that cheese melted and golden, and you've got a quick, easy French onion soup. So that's another way you can use this. Just mix one of these packages with about a cup, cup and a half of water. Simmer it. Put it in an oven-proof mug or bowl. Top it with croutons or a slice of, you know, toasted a baguette, like a French baguette, a slice of that. Top it with cheese, put it under the broiler. It's wonderful. Serve it alongside a garden salad and you got dinner in 15 minutes. So there you go. Label these with a Sharpie marker or a label if you want to. This is your dried onion soup mix. Instead of buying those packages that have got so many chemicals in them that we can't even pronounce, you're controlling what's going into your soup mix. So I hope you try this. Let me know what you think. Hi everybody. Today we are going to learn how to make our own homemade instant oatmeal packs. Do you like oatmeal for breakfast? But you know, sometimes oatmeal, if you do the traditional oatmeal, it can take forever to cook, and mornings are busy and we do not have time for that. But you can make your own homemade. You can get the box of the pre-mixed up packets that costs a fortune. So I'm going to show you how to make this very inexpensively, and it couldn't be easier. Now in this bowl, I have 3 cups of the instant oats. Now remember, sometimes there's different ones in there and you need to read the labels. You have the old-fashioned, you have the quick cook 1 minute. You want the quick cook 1 minute oats. You don't want the longer cooking one. This is the quick cook. And I'm going to take about half of these oats. I'm going to use 1.5 cups. So this is a 1/4 cup measure, so I'm going to do 6 of them. And I'm going to put them in my food processor, and I'm actually going to pulverize these, and I'm going to make them powdered. So just, you know, just a few seconds. It doesn't take long. Hang on with me. Sometimes you can pulse it. You really want them ground very, very fine. That's perfect. Take them out of your food processor and put them in a bowl. Now, to this, let me get my food processor out of my way here. I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt to my whole oats, because you do need a little salt. You just do. Just a little bit. Now here's where you can use your imagination. Think about the flavors that you like in your oatmeal. Now you absolutely can leave it plain if you want, and I'll show you how to do that. Again, your little Ziploc baggies are just so handy with so many different things. For each bag, this will make about 8, you want to take 1/4 cup of your whole oats, and then 2 tablespoons, let me get my measure here. This is a teaspoon, so there's 3 teaspoons in a tablespoon, so you want to have 6 of these, or 2 tablespoons. If I was smart, I would have gotten a tablespoon measurer, but I didn't. Kind of stir that up with a spoon, and you've got just plain oatmeal. If that's what you want, there you go. What you need to do is mix each little baggie with 3/4 cup of boiling water and let it set for 2 minutes. So if you want plain oatmeal, and what I would do to make it easier is take a Sharpie and put with 3/4 cup boiling water, let set for 2 minutes, and there you go. Anybody can do this. That way, if you're not feeling well and somebody in your home wants something to eat, they could do that themselves. They could even microwave the water to get it really, really hot. 3/4 cup of water to each packet. But the great thing about this is you can make your own combinations. Now in my home, same thing, 1/4 cup of this, and then 6 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Brown sugar, cinnamon is a big combination, as is brown sugar and raisins. So I'm going to make this one brown sugar and raisins. You want to add a tablespoon of brown sugar, mix it all together with a spoon or your hands, and then some raisins, about 1/4 cup of raisins. You could use dried cranberries, you could add dried blueberries, you could do currants, you could do anything you want. There you go, your own homemade brown sugar and raisin oatmeal. Same thing. 3/4 cup of boiling water, mix it with all of this together, and then let it set for 2 minutes. And you've got your own homemade instant oatmeal packets, instead of buying the oatmeal packs that are convenient But they're, number one, expensive, and number two, you don't know what you're getting in there. Look at the label on some of this stuff, and if you can't pronounce the ingredients, you don't need to be eating it. So let's do the same thing with this one. 1/4 cup of our whole oats, and then 2 tablespoons, or in my case, 6 teaspoons, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you could, that one was a little short. You could customize this anything you like. Another very good flavoring is apple cinnamon. So I have some sugar, about a teaspoon of sugar, a little bit of cinnamon, about 1/4 teaspoon or so of cinnamon. And I have some dried here, just dried sliced apples, and you will need to cut them up into little bite-sized pieces. Apple cinnamon is just a traditional flavor together, and it's wonderful. And you know, if you've ever seen me before, you know I have 2 school children at home. I have 2 teenage boys, and listen, mornings in my home are extremely busy and need to be quick, because we have to get to school and I have to get to work. So things like this that are quick, ready to go are just essential. And I can take, 30 minutes on an afternoon or an evening and get lunches or breakfasts. They could even take this for lunch if they wanted. Ready to go, you got it ready to go, then you don't have to mix it out, and you've got what you want in there. It's just the perfect little thing to have in your pantry. 3/4 right on there, 3/4 cup of boiling water, mix with this, let it set for 2 minutes. With the raisins and the apples, the hot water is going to rehydrate that fruit. Some other possible combinations that you could make, again, 1/4 cup of the whole, 2 tablespoons of the dried in each baggie. You could make some, what would be delicious would be like coconut and dried pineapple together. You could mix some walnuts with some cinnamon. You could mix some of the dried cranberries, the craisins. You could mix craisins and some almonds together and put in there, about 1/4 cup of the dried fruit, a couple tablespoons of the nuts, mix in there. Add some brown sugar if you wanted to. There are so many different flavor profiles that you could make, and your individual baggies, think of what you like in the flavorings of an oatmeal, and make them up and write on your baggie. And then after you've cooked it and you've let it set for 2 minutes, you could drizzle over some maple syrup. You could drizzle over some honey if you wanted. Some honey drizzled in there would be wonderful. You could make your own combinations, whatever you like. Think about the flavors that you like. Go to the grocery store. Look in that dried fruit section. There are tons of different kinds of dried fruit. To get your kids to eat oatmeal, what you might want to think about doing is mixing up. Let me see if I have some. I bet I do. Let me see. Yes. You want your children to eat oatmeal? Mix in some chocolate. So let's do one more. I'm going to do the same thing. 1/4 cup of my oats, 6 teaspoons, 3, that was a half, 4, 5, 6, and it doesn't have to be exact. You don't have to level it off. Chocolate chips. Mix them in there. About 1/4 cup, you can eyeball it. Mix that in there, and they're gonna have chocolate oatmeal. I know mine would scarf that down. Absolutely, same thing. 3/4 cup of boiling water, mix it together, let it set for 2 minutes, and there you go. So here are some very quick, easy to make, and you can customize it. Start out with 3 cups of quick cook oats. Take half of those, or 1.5 cups, put them in your food processor until they are powdery. You see how very, very loose and powdery those are. and then take 1/4 of a cup of the whole oats with 2 tablespoons of the powdered, a little bit of salt mixed in there. Portion it out into individual baggies, and you're going to get, let's see, you're going to get about 7 or 8 baggies worth of oats. And you know, that's going to cost you probably for all of it, maybe $2 by the time you measure out the cost of your fruit, whereas a box is probably going to be $4 or $5 if you get those pre-made packages. So it's economical, and it's a lot healthier for your family. Try these instant oatmeal packs.
Thank you for watching Everyday Manna with Lisa. This program is made possible by viewers like you. Your support is continually needed to keep Christian programming on the air. Please send your best financial gift to Living Faith Television in care of Everyday Manna, P.O. Box 1867, Abingdon, Virginia 24212.